All right, look what we have here. Fresh packages from China. We're not gonna beat around the bush today. We're gonna hop right in. Let's unbox and take a first look at this potential new vertical emulation beast rocking a brand new chipset. Super exciting. All right, let's hop in. If you are interested in one of these, it's available in our description. Make sure to use the coupon code. These have begun shipping now, but do realize, get this fast if you want to get it before the tariff cutoff, which is going to be here on May 2nd, but it's a fluid situation and it could change at any time. Now, this is an interesting vertical. It seems to be a little bit wider in what I've seen so far, and we're going to have to compare it against some of the tried and true classics. Pun possibly intended. Oh. Now they've ditched the joysticks on here. This is a focused Game Boy use case. Oh, that is ridiculous and gorgeous. Look at that colorway. Ah, Pokemon Yellow. And they really closely color matched this to the original GBC Pokemon Yellow. Green, red, face buttons. People who don't like loud, clocky buttons, these are very, very quiet and truly much quieter than the RP Mini, RP5, and even the RP Flip 2. Clicky start and select. Oh, that button's pretty clicky there. Quiet, clicky D-pad. And we do have clicky backs, but they're not too loud. Okay, so tour of the device here. D-pad, face buttons. Okay, so this is the home back button. Start, select. On the right, we have nothing. On the left, we have power button, volume up and down. Bottom, we have nothing. And on the top, we have a 3.5 headphone out, which is great to have on these verticals. USB-C, which I believe does not support video out. Yeah, no video out there. And a micro SD card slot. Nice. And yeah, this screen already, the coating on it, I like it. It seems to have somewhat of a non-reflective coating applied. I like the sloped ergonomics on the shoulder buttons. We have an air intake here with the vent here. There's a minimal Retroid logo on there, which I appreciate. Kind of a classic back with a nice rounded bottom there, and not as wide as I was expecting, so that's nice. It reminds me, it's kind of similar to the analog pocket body. Otherwise, we just have a USB-C cable in the box, and that about wraps that up. Now, before we turn it on, let's just do just a few quick size comparisons. So taking us all the way back to the beginning of Retroid, we have the original Retroid Pocket 1. This was their device first released in 2019, and believe it or not, I was playing on this the other day. My son was really enjoying it, and it's not too bad for what it was. This was their first device, and they are finally coming back to the classic. So the classic name is both a self-nostalgic name and a true nostalgic name. Here is a similarly sized device, the RG40XXV from Anbernic, and very similar there. Look at that. Look at the backlight too. That's very, very kind of similar. Now here's a FP-GBC by Funny Playing, a little bit wider than that. And this is the same size as the original Game Boy Color. Here's a modded original Game Boy Color. So yeah, a little bit wider and bigger. Got a similar nostalgic bump. Mod Retro Chromatic. My Mini, this thing is hot, 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 hot. V10, RG35, Battle XP G350, I'm showing you all the verticals here. Trim UI brick, R33S. That about sums it up for verticals that I want to share. So here's their other new device, by the way, the Retroid Pocket Flip, RP5. The D-pad, I believe, is the same D-pad here. Face buttons, though, are this newer style, just super shallow action, shallow pivot. And yeah, don't love the clicky back, but they're very comfortable and not too loud. But this will be very pocketable. Speaking of, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Being that it's a Snapdragon, driver compatibility should be better, but again, it's brand new. Much like the G3X Gen 2 we saw in IMEO devices this year, there are going to be probably some compatibility things, some Android apps that aren't going to work right off the bat. And I assume for color that we can go into the menu and configure color, but man, it is a nice vibrant OLED screen. So it's on standard mode now. We could do a screen enhancement or intelligent. Standard seems pretty good. So similar to the RP5, this has sort of a red tint to the screen, just slightly. Let's see, so here we go. Very, very, very dim, which is nice to see, and super duper bright. Unlike the 557 I was reviewing yesterday, no PWM flicker that I can see on camera, so that is very nice. And we are reporting a 60 Hertz on this display. So here's how quiet the fan is. Very, very quiet on quiet, unlike the Flip 2, which is just a little bit louder. Sport, definitely a little bit louder there. Let's take some measurements. If you wanted to know, these buttons are 7.3 millimeters. D-pad, about 7.5. And the weight, 226 grams. Definitely lighter weight than the Analog Pocket. As far as the heat goes, I'm not sensing any heat on the body, but let's just check. While we're benchmarking, 21 degrees Celsius in the room ambient. Got 25 on screen, 23 in the body, about 25 on the back. So yeah, very low temperatures so far. And some of these extra systems, while they're not going to be ideal on here, for benchmarking purposes, they can work well. Speaking of benchmarking, let's get our 3D Mark and Geekbench, and we can compare them to our results from our other devices from the RG557 live stream, where we benchmarked both against the RP5 and Flip 2. Let's take a listen to these speakers. Fairly clear definition. I like the Ioneo Pocket speakers better. They fire out the sides. So yeah, this is the RP5 D-pad. We know what we're gonna get here. This is just very accurate, fluid. It feels great to use, comfortable. Take a look at that screen. That is a crisp panel. For whatever reason, the screen is trying to flip itself sideways. And it is expecting a joystick here. So yeah, we'll have to do some custom funkery there for it to work properly. Okay, so this is gonna excel at anything that doesn't really need a stick, including, like, we could do N64. There's some games like Wave Race we can make work. You can get around some things and like get creative with your button mappings, but in general, let's focus on systems that generally just don't have a joystick. So Switch here. Now Switch should be a good use case here because of the Joy-Cons and the fact that Switch is used to having the option to switch to one single controller without a joystick, right? Like, this Cuphead experience is great. Like run and guns like this, platformers. And we are seeing a 42 FPS here on handheld mode. We're not in docked mode. So Switch is going to be tough to run. Maybe some of these 2D games can run okay. Let's see how Hades performs. Now this was even struggling on the Anbernic RG557. Oh, rumble feels good. I like that subtle rumble. All right, so we're having some graphics drawing issues here, and we're getting a 30 FPS here. So we'll have to figure that out. Yeah, a little bit of lag going on. No shaders or anything. That's interesting. Okay, once it's going now it's accurate, but yeah, there is just a slightest little bit of lag I'm feeling. Oh, here we go. You know what's another good system to play on here? Besides SNES and 16-bit is actually PS1, the early games that didn't have joysticks, like, I don't know, Twisted Metal 2. And yeah, these controls feel really good for Twisted Metal 2 so far. I'm able to do my jumps. Okay, no lag in PS1 though. So far it's not getting hot though, which I appreciate. Buttons feel really good though. The buttons are easy to press, they're quiet, and it's a definitely handheld you can kind of just button mash on. And yeah, I like clean pixels. I really don't like shaders, but again, you should be able to apply plenty here. And yeah, that screen does look gorgeous. Look at that. All right, so there's some things that we need to figure out on this before we move on too much. But yeah, it's early days. It's a little wonky. Software definitely has some glitches. This is a pre-production unit. Keep that in mind. You know, there may be further things to fix. I'm guessing really it's going to be in software. All right, I just wanted to report really quick. Totally fixed the screen rotation issue. For some reason, it was hidden earlier when it was freezing up, and so it actually is hidden here. Auto rotate is now on, and forced landscape is on, and that's what you need because I believe by default the screen is rotated, and so you're gonna need that. Why that is not on by default, I don't know, but it was driving me kind of crazy. So now we're all good. RetroArch looks normal. All right, let's wrap up. So what did you all think about the Retroid Pocket Classic? So far in my testing, it's the right size and it feels good in the hand and everything works well and feels well, but it's not without its flaws. I will test before the live stream and see if we can get that going, but stay tuned for that, where we're gonna go deeper, test more games, and just have a fun time, really focusing on like adding shaders to Game Boy Color and having a lot of fun for its intended use case, which I really feel is going to be those handheld systems like that. But 4x3 systems, all of that should look really good. This is not a perfectly 4x3 screen though, so realize that, but In general, it's going to feel good for those systems. And the buttons all felt really good. The back buttons, yeah, a little clicky, a little loud, but the D-pad felt great. Face buttons being quiet felt nice. The screen, no PWM, crisp, vibrant colors on that AMOLED display. And I just like the hand feel. It's lightweight. The speaker sounds pretty good, and it never really got hot. I don't know that it even needs that fan. The fan is pretty quiet though when you do use it, so I love that. And yeah, overall, I really love the colorway. It's fun. If you're interested in this, there are other colors. Some of them won't ship to the US, so you basically have to back this right about now, as long as it's before, what, April 20th. We're cutting it close here, everybody. But if you're looking for this and you want something on tap, then there's other options, definitely. You could go with like a Adreno Pocket DMG, which is accomplishing the same kind of goal. You could look at a much cheaper device. You know, something like the Trim UI Brick is small and really pocketable. Performance, though, so far is pretty impressive, but we've barely scratched the surface, so there's more to come. Stay tuned. But if you're looking for Android and you really want to tinker around and play around, this is a brand new chipset to explore, and that's very exciting. So we're going to see what it can do. I would suggest getting a screen protector on there. This is a beautiful screen. You don't want to damage it. Getting definitely a carry case would be nice. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks once again to our channel members, our patrons, and our subs for making everything here possible for us. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in the Discord to chat and play games, and join me on the next video where I'm going to be doing a live stream with the RP Classic here, and so much more. Until the next time, this has been Stubbs saying, take care of your handhelds, everybody, and each other.